What is up to all my finessers? It is I, the Mexican Burt Reynolds, and today we have some guest footage from a subscriber of mine. His gamer tag is tigre070chanceux. I'm not going to be mentioning that a lot. Now, that being said, he has an excellent game today in the Tier 6 German DD, the Maass. Not to be confused with the Tier 10 German tank in World of Tanks. Now, moving on. So, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, share this video. Also, you're going to see this gentleman's link to his channel in the bottom of the description box. Please, please, please make sure to go down there, hit subscribe, hit notify on his channel for me. Check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff. And also, folks, before I get into this, let me go ahead and mention what we're going to start doing is I'm going to start having more and more community replays here. So if you want to give anything to me, you want to send anything my way, by all means let me know. I've already got 3 or 4 people who's got a lot of stuff for me to get, so we're going to make that happen. You can message me on Boulevard the Fell-Handed at Facebook. You can message me in the comments below, Twitter, what have you, Xbox Live. Just, if I don't get to it, just hit me with a gentle reminder, because I've got a lot going on, period, in my life and everywhere. So, moving on, let's get to the game. So, folks, I haven't seen a whole lot about this particular ship. This isn't something you can necessarily get. You kind of have to get the luck of the draw. They haven't necessarily unlocked the tech trees yet. You know, you can see them, but you can't necessarily grind up the tech trees. So this isn't something I've really experienced, and I haven't really seen a lot of these. But this is going to be interesting for all of us together, because you know what? This looks like a very interesting ship. I've heard the Germans have excellent guns, and I'm really eager to see what this gentleman can make happen with this particular vessel. Going to the top of the screen there, as you can see, we have 1 ship down to the enemy's 2. That's a good thing, but like I've said in previous videos, it's too early to tell, honestly, in game. Now, that being said, if the points start shifting in a totally different direction, it's not necessarily going to happen. I really need to make some videos on the point of no return, when, you know, it's not possible for you to win as a team, and you kind of have to get out there and do everything you can as an individual to kind of get yours. So moving on, we're putting some fire on this gentleman from our torps here. We've got the guns lined up here. We're doing some rolling fire with our HE. It looks like we hit him. It looks like this gentleman, Tigre, here was aiming right for the rear end of the ship there to kind of hit him and immobilize him. That is a very wise decision. It's a little tricky to hit sometimes if you're aiming for a specific module, especially when you get RNG involved. Moving on, it looks like our torps aren't going to connect with that gentleman right there, but you know what, that's fine. A lot of times it doesn't happen. You fire at the other DDs, the other cruisers. It's really, honestly, blind luck. Most of the time it's even blind luck with a lot of your higher tier battleships. Sometimes they can get so maneuverable. That was an excellent shot. Hit him right where it counts. And now we have went ahead and removed him from the map. Excellent shot. The guns on this vessel are impressive. It may actually give, you know, the Benson Fletcher area a run for its money. So I would be kind of interested to see, you know, who rules the seas as far as the gunboats are considered. So, you know, maybe that's something we can discuss at a later date and kind of have an open dialogue. Doesn't look good for that gentleman. He had a lot of fish coming towards him, but it looks like he went at him in a parallel type fashion, which is exactly what you want to do, folks. Split the upright, so to speak. Blarg. You never want to be broadside against somebody torping, and if you're getting cross-torped, you're a little screwed. If they've cross-torped right. I figure if there's a lull in the combat, I can kind of impart what small amount of wisdom I may or may not have. Moving on. We're trying to get in range here to kind of launch some torps. We don't have a lot of damage yet, but you know what? It's still early in the game, and going back to the top of the map there, the top of the screen, we're 2 down and the enemy's 4 down. Now we're kind of getting in the area where things, if put enough pressure in certain locations, can kind of do exponential damage. We're not necessarily there yet, but we're working on it. You know, and if we can kind of coordinate things as a team, then possibly we can make some things happen. If you've got a division on one side and they have a lot of good teamwork, they could really kind of end up, you know, swinging the battle. You know, depending, it's all situational though, of course, but you know, it's a very possible thing to kind of happen. This gentleman right here has problems in his life. He's on fire. He's got torps headed towards him. It looks like they're going to connect. They're really looking good from this distance. Oh, we got some hits. He shoots, he scores. That's what I'm talking about. That gentleman will be sitting at the bottom of this channel. That gives us 2 kills now, and we have 16,000 damage. But you know what? I have a feeling Tigre is not done. Now, we're bringing her about here. We have some gentlemen to R12. Now, the enemy are 5 ships down to R2. This is kind of the point where they're in trouble. They're not necessarily looking to try to win anymore. They're looking for personal survival at this point. And I have seen some clutches from this point, you know, on the red team. But 90% of the time, 95% of the time, it's not going to happen. The other guys just have too many ships. And luckily, we're the other guys because, you know what? I think we've all been on the red team where we're just getting the crap kicked out of us and they outnumber us 2-1. And it's happened. But you know what? It's okay. You know, it happens to all of us. All you can do is just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and continue on. So we dropped the kids off at the pool there, and now we're turning out, trying to get some distance in between us and them, waiting on the reload. And that's essentially what you want to do, guys, when you're running a DD, is you want to be able to drop those fish off and come about. Oh, man, that was beautiful. Torped the crap out of that guy. 3 kills, 42,000 damage. What I was saying, though, is you want to end up, you know, launching your torpedoes, turning out, and then by the time the torps are ready, you want to already have your second target lined up. Ideally speaking. Now, granted, of course, you can't always do that simply because, you know, spotting distance, you don't want to go out there and get spotted, so on and so forth. So you kind of have to be cautious, have to keep your head on a swivel. But, you know, we do what we can. Just some friendly advice. Now, we have a gentleman here, looks like to about our 10 o'clock. We're going to see if we can't possibly push up a little closer. We don't necessarily want to start running the guns on him right away, simply because there's not a whole lot else for him to shoot that is looking pretty. Because if there was, you better believe he'd be shooting at it. We do, however, want to try to torp him and not get him roused. We want him to maintain the same course. And a lot of times, that's not what happens with these folks, guys. You know, they get all squirrely, or they think, you know, there's a DD around them. And most of the time there is. But, you know, I understand the need for doing all this random stuff. And it does make it increasingly harder to make contact with these guys. But, you know, it's one of the few defensive things you can do against torps. Either that or you can run a Japanese boat, which has the, I think the Amagi has 50% torpedo reduction if it hits along the armor belt. So that could be your defense. Either way, you know, you do have to be cautious because when you get higher tiers, these torps can really lay down the hatred. I think the Kagito torps are around 20k a piece. And of course, you know, the bigger battleships are going to have some damage reduction, but it's not going to be over 25% unless it's a Amagi. Torps are looking really good for this gentleman. He looks like he's going to take 1 or 2. There's one right there in the nose, and it looks like the other one may or may not have went in. I can't tell. We're up to 52,000 damage. Having a lot of luck with torps right now, folks. Really going out there and balling out with these torpedoes. And that is, you know, that is the sign of a good DD guy that can get these torps on target here consistently. And that's, you know, you just have to be cautious and you have to play a waiting game. And the longer you're alive, the more opportunity you're going to have to get shots on target. I see a lot of guys rush, you know, A, B, C, what have you, and they get pooped on right off the jump. Granted, of course, sometimes it cannot be avoided, but you have to be cautious, and you have to play cautious. Now, if you're alone, you probably have to play more cautiously than if you're with a division, because you're going to have your people to look out for you. You know, if they know what they're doing, they're, you know, good solid team. But in this case, you know, Tigre here is solo, so he's playing the cautious game, and he's not really exposing himself any more than he has to. He's launching torps from a decent distance, and then he's turning out, and that's perfect. That is literally textbook of how you were supposed to DD. Excellent spread on this gentleman right here. I can tell right now the way these torps are going, we're going to get it 1 to 2 on target, it looks like. Let's see how close I am to getting right. Yeah, it looks like he's going to take one about aft mid. Nope, he's going to take one, it looks like. Bam! And that was enough. 4 kills. That is fantastic. Tigre is out there, folks. He's pulling it back. He's letting it go. He's dropping the kids off at the pole. He's serving fish up for dinner. Amazing, amazing game so far. We're just going out there. We're making it happen. We're up to 60K. The bad guys have 1 gentleman left on the team, and we have 6. And essentially all we're doing right now, guys, we're just mopping up. We're going around. We're trying to get some shots on this last guy once we kind of track him down here, get in range, what have you. We've got 2 out of 3 cap circles. 66.6% of the cap circles belong to us. As far as points go, we're balling out on points. The game's going to be over in a matter of moments. We just have to kind of get out there and see if we can't possibly farm a little bit more damage off this last guy. It's, you know, it may be asking for a lot, but do us this one favor. We just need to go out there and farm just a tiny, tiny bit more. And I think we both know the torps will never make it there in time by the time the rest of the team gets there. So we really need to get some gun work on target, possibly set this gentleman on fire if that is such a thing, and if we get in range. You know, a lot of times I don't know a whole lot about the German commanders, but I know there's a Japanese and there is a British that give you extended torp range for reduced gun range, and I'm not sure if the Germans have that or not. Possibly you folks can enlighten me, but I think that is a very, very good trade-off. Even though the German ships tend to have amazing guns, I would still think would go for the, you know, extended torp range, just simply for reasons, if you catch my drift, because it's, you know, it's a good thing, simply because stealth is the main thing of the DD here, because, you know, the guns just aren't going to do tons of damage. I mean, you guys have seen the footage of the Atlanta. You know, you have to hit somebody 2,000 times to kill a decent-sized battleship, but luckily you can do it from the safety of cover most of the time. Moving on, guys, it doesn't look like it's necessarily going to happen here. We're all alone in the end zone. We're not really seeing a whole lot. This guy's most likely just going to let the timer run out. He's posted up behind an island, most likely. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to die either. I don't like pain. It hurts me. So he's just going to kind of wait it out there, and that's fine. We understand that. We don't begrudge him that because, you know, his KD doesn't necessarily go down if he finishes like that. But yeah, we had a fantastic game. 282,000 credits, 60,887 damage. Guys, I really hope you enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. Check out this gentleman's channel at the bottom of the description box. See you guys next time.